Purposely. Your life, God's purpose. Listen at purposely.com.
To be real, they basically kind of hated each other. And when I think about their story, I can't blame them. There are some pretty big things that stood in the way of them being able to truly be loving brothers. My name is Julie Lyles Carr, and this is God on the Go, part of the Purposely Podcast Network, where we help you make the minutes matter. We're in a series about siblings, the people that we call our brothers and sisters, the places where our sibling relationships can trip us up, the places where our sibling relationships can be great. And today, well, we're going to explore another sibling relationship that maybe you see some things that you think, that's kind of like how I sometimes am with my sibling. Their names were Jacob and Esau. They were twins, and we learn about them in the Bible. Now, they were twins with very different personalities. I have twins. My youngest children are twins, and they are what are called fraternal twins. One is a girl, one is a boy. They look very, very different. And I can tell you from the earliest stages of their babyhoods, they are such different people. I love each of the people that they are. But just because they're twins does not mean they're a whole lot alike. They're not. They're really different. One of my twins is super outgoing and social and kind of loud and funny and just really comes into a room. The other one, well, that twin's a little more quiet. He takes a little more time getting to know people. He has really deep relationships. They're both amazing, great people, these twins of mine, but they are very, very different. And Jacob and Esau, same thing. We can tell from scripture that they were fraternal twins. The Bible talks about how different they looked. Esau was kind of this, big burly guy, and he had a real hairy chest and hairy arms. And Jacob, well, he wasn't the same kind of person. He was a little more mild, a little more stepped back. And he and Esau, they didn't like the same stuff. They didn't have the same hobbies. Esau loved to go out hunting and do all kinds of things like that. Jacob liked to stay home more. But in all of that, well, here was the problem. Instead of appreciating each other for the differences that they had, they allowed those differences to come between them. And here's the part of the story that I think about with parents. And I go, ooh, their mom and dad, in some ways that were intentional, in some ways that it doesn't seem it was intentional, but they each kind of played into the fact that these were two very different people and sort of played up their differences. And that ultimately led these brothers to have a complete breakdown in their friendship as siblings. They got to a place where they were so resentful, angry, fearful, that they ended up as adults moving far, far away from each other. Now, that's a really sad situation when a friendship with your sibling just falls apart to that level because of the differences that you have. When other family members, like a mom and dad, get in the middle of it and make it worse, which is what happened. But it doesn't have to be the end of the story. The good news is, because of God's love, because of his guidance, because Jacob and Esau learned to forgive, they ultimately were able to renew their relationship as siblings. It took a lot of work. It was hard. It was messy. It took apology. But they were able, as they grew older, to have a friendship again. Guess how many people say that they talk to their adult siblings or they talk to their parents every single week, even when they don't live in the same place? Can you guess? Over half, 56% of people say they are still in contact with their family very often. I know that's definitely true for me. Now, you might be thinking, oh, I don't get along very well with my siblings right now. It's kind of hard for me to imagine still being in touch with them. Well, I want you to think about this. It's a beautiful thing to me that even with all their differences, even with the family conflict that happened, Jacob and Esau, they ended up finding their way back to each other. They really discovered afresh that, blood was thicker than water in that situation. There is a special responsibility that we have when it comes to our families. 1 Timothy 5:8 says, "But those who won't care for their relatives, especially those in their own household, have denied the true faith. Such people are worse than unbelievers." Now, it has to be said, sometimes there are situations where it's just not possible for there to be reconciliation in that way, where there has been a hurt that's been so significant that it's healthier for people to not can't have relationship anymore. It takes a lot of wisdom, a lot of prayer, a lot of being very mature to understand when that moment is. But in a lot of cases, we can, with forgiveness, understanding, appreciation of our differences, we can make sure that we have beautiful family relationships that go with us for a lifetime. It's time to let go of those things that don't really matter. It's time to really rethink, okay, just because someone's a little different, just because they like something different than I do, just because they communicate in a way that's different than how I communicate, we can still be family. We can still love each other, be there for each other, take care of each other, pray for each other. Those are the kinds of sibling relationships that can go the distance, even when the differences seem pretty big. Hey, check out georgefox.edu. That's the website that's going to take you to George Fox University, the sponsor of God on the Go. George Fox University has such a unique educational model. Degree programs and just about everything you can imagine, athletics, social events, all kinds of great things, all in a beautiful faith-based environment for your college-age students. So check out georgefox.edu, and I'll see you next time at God on the Go.